Hey everybody, it's Big Andrew here again, coming to you from my garage gym, my home gym here, with another uh, installment of Thoughts from the Bench. Um, Today was kind of a sad day for me, for my inner child, and a lot of people's inner children, and just a sad day in general. Really, it was just a rough day. Today was the day we found out that uh, Terry Bollea, known to the billions all around the world as Hulk Hogan, passed away. Apparently he died this morning, cardiac arrest. I have a little notebook right here. This notebook, I was given this notebook. I use it to write little notes and stuff in it, ideas for podcast episodes. And for this particular today thought, all I have written down is Hulk Hogan's death. Now, we've had they say, deaths of famous people come in threes. We've had three. We've had Malcolm Jamal Warner died recently in the news. He was, of course, Theo on the Cosby Show way back when, another part of a lot of people's childhood. And he'd done many other things since then. And then we had Ozzy Osbourne die. I believe it was just yesterday, I think. He just died from complications with his Parkinson's. And, I read the testimony of Sharon Osbourne's testimony when she stayed by his side through to the very end there, holding his hand in the hospital bed. And it was really just a pretty story, beautiful story. She was very good with her husband, it seems. And I don't know a lot about Malcolm Jamal Warner's personal life. I never really looked into it. But it was a pretty sad way to die on a family trip and drown like that. And a lot of people have different things to say about these things. People will say things about Warner's death, Malcolm Jamal Warner's death. A lot of my Christian friends have had very negative things to say about Ozzy Osbourne after his death. And, understandably, the guy, declared himself the Prince of Darkness, and was a heavy metal icon. I have seen video of people saying that they had a chance to talk to him about his salvation on a couple occasions. And I'm willing to say, maybe he did get saved, maybe he didn't. I don't know. That's not for me to judge. I certainly hope that the witnessing stuck and he was able to get to heaven. Same with Theo from Cosby Show. But Hulk Hogan did have a pretty good testimony, and I was listening to his episode. If you haven't heard it, you should go look up the Joe Rogan podcast. Now, full disclosure, he uses some language. If that bothers you, you should know that going in, right? But he had an interview with Hulk Hogan a while back, and I was listening to this interview, and it struck me something that he said early on in the interview. He was talking about growing up. He didn't go to church, right? His parents didn't take him to church in Florida where he grew up. But he went to church one day. He just felt something. He went to church. And as a middle schooler, early high school and stuff like that, he took himself to church. He would get on the bike and ride at the church or whatever, or walk to the church. He would get to church somehow on his own because he knew there was something there that he needed. He felt a connection to church. He felt a connection to God. Now, it was a long time before that came into anything. He got out of church and started playing in rock bands and stuff like that. And of course, he was a wrestler and an actor. And later in his life, more of a little bit of a political activist, I guess. But he became this larger than life persona, right? Let me tell you something, brother. What you gotta do? Take your vitamins and get in your pump and say your prayers. All these things. And he was big into that, right? And that when you're a kid and you see this giant hulking man who went by the name Hulk Hogan up on screen on TV or on stage or whatever, and you're just like, wow, who is that? I gotta be like that. He's something, and just this massive person, um, just this huge, larger than life, and it just drew you in, right? This character, this persona that he had, and it was an amazing thing to watch. And then later on in life, he starts going to church again. And he said that he gave his life to Christ and it was the best decision he ever made. And then here we read today that he dies this morning at 11 something this morning. It's never too late to come to Christ. I just want to put that out there. Whether you're a believer or not believer, it's never too late to set your life right with Christ. I would encourage people to do it earlier in their life because it makes for, a lot easier transition to the later years. But it's never too late. You can be this global phenomenon like Hulk Hogan and have everything and still not have Jesus. And he knew he didn't have it. But what struck me the most about this guy's testimony was he knew that there was something he needed at that church when he was a child, when he was a teenager. He knew there was something there. But then he spent his life filling those holes that in his heart that the church filled with other things, with music, and with wrestling, and with endorsements and products and business and all this stuff. Hulk Hogan, by his own testimony, died a Christian. So we would say that he has taken his trip, he's in heaven. And I have no problem believing that. None whatsoever. I would like to think that the people that got a chance to witness to Ozzy maybe got through to him and maybe he got saved. And I hope that somebody got to Malcolm Jamal Warner. I don't know anything about his personal life or testimony or anything. But you could be somebody who's looking for something. You could be somebody who's trying to fill some void. I don't know. I don't know you, probably. You could be somebody who's looking for answers in something. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's your family. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's your car. Maybe it's one of the vices of the world, the alcohol or the porn industry or drugs or whatever it is. You're trying to fill a hole in you with something. And it's not really working. On the outside, you can look happy. You could be a global phenomenon. You could be somebody who's a big shot. You could be something special in your community or in your life or even bigger than that. Let's say you're something special to people you don't even know. Millions of people maybe know who you are, know your name. That's great. I'm so happy for you that you've achieved some kind of notoriety. Really. But if you're trying to fill a void that's inside of you with this notoriety or something else like that, it's not going to work. It's not going to last forever. You need Jesus. And you need to give your life to him. And that's really all there is to it. Now, I hope for you that you're hearing this and it helps you. But I know that some people might hear this and they're not going to be happy with it. They don't want to hear what I'm saying, and that's okay. It still needs to be said. You need Jesus. For your life, there is no plan B. This is the life you get. You need to let Jesus into that life and put that life in Jesus' hands. And it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't. It doesn't matter how big you are. It doesn't matter how little you are. It doesn't matter how insignificant you feel. You need Jesus. So that's my thought from the bench today. We mourn the loss of Hulk Hogan as a childhood icon, a world icon, a global phenomenon that he was. Pray for his family. We mourn the loss of other celebrities and other people, Ozzy Osbourne, Malcolm Jamal Warner, or whatever, and their families. I hope their families are okay. And the people that weren't notable, they weren't famous, they died too. Their families need prayer, and we mourn for them. You need Jesus. If I find out about you someday, I don't want to mourn for you and wonder, did they hear about Jesus? Did they get a chance to give Jesus a chance? Because right now, if you listen to this, if you're hearing this, I'm telling you, you need Jesus. This is your chance. Anybody that comes to Jesus can get some Jesus. That void can be filled. You need Jesus. And that's my thought from the bench today.